Thank you and welcome to the show this morning. The topic this morning is encouraging African American youth. And we're fortunate to have with us two persons to talk about some of the challenges that we face today dealing with not only African American youth, but our youth in general. But we are especially concerned with African American youth doing this particular show. And first of all, let's see if we can have you, Reverend Hayes and Brother Cool, to give us some information about your background, your education, and some of your experiences and what really brought you to us this morning. Let's start with you, Reverend Hayes, and then we'll continue with you, Brother Cool.
Thank you. One of the things that I've been attended Tennessee State University after graduating from the Great Pearl High School. Attended Vanderbilt Divinity School and Gammon Theological Seminary, where I obtained a Master's of Divinity degree. I also been a youth coach from the time I was like 18 years old. For many years, I coached Little League Baseball. We won a lot of ball games. I also coached Little League Football, and I coached the basketball team youth at that time at Gordon Memorial Church. So I've been in coaching for a long time as far as youth was concerned. So I've been able to put back a little bit with a lot of youth.
And so you're very familiar with some of the problems that we are talking about and some of the challenges that we have to face dealing with young people. Is that what we're saying?
It is, because back when I was coaching, it was a little bit different. You could, be a little bit tougher on kids. Nowadays, it's more challenging because everything is kind of up in the air. Kids are not getting the same motivation and instructions that they used to get. And so now we have to kind of take a step back and go back and try to make sure that we are giving our youth opportunities to succeed in life.
And Brother Cool, let's look at your background, your education, some of your experiences doing this particular segment.
Well, Reverend Haney, I want to thank you for having me here today. My name is RCoure. I'm a native Nashvilleian. I attended the public high schools here in Nashville. Went on to get my undergraduate degree from Fisk University. Did graduate study at Tennessee State. Former teacher for 40 years at Metro Public High Schools. Was head football coach at East High School, head football coach at Whites Creek High School, and I coached various other sports. And I'm very concerned about our youth today, and so that's why I'm especially happy to be here to talk about some of the issues that's happening in our community. Okay, I'm married, have one son, and two lovely grandkids, and both of those kids attend Gower Elementary School.
Very good. You know, Brother Hayes, I think that when we talk about the activities that the two of you have been involved in, these are activities that bring you almost in intimate contact with young people.
Right.
You see, not only African American youth, but young people in general, especially talking about coaching young people, and et cetera. And so I think that within that context, we should have quite a bit of information in terms of what are some of the issues that these young people face today, and how we might be able to deal with some of these issues. Because I think that being a football coach, a baseball coach, and Brother RCoure, you've been all kind of coaches for many years. And I think that you bring just a wealth of information and knowledge in terms of how to deal with these young people, what we call African American youth. But I think that we all understand that all youth essentially are the same. You see, and the only reason we're talking about African American youth is simply because it appears that we have so many problems dealing with our young people. You turn on the television set every morning to get the news, and you find that there's killing and et cetera. And so that's what we're trying to do today.
There's various factors that fall into that situation where our youth is heading today, and maybe we can talk about some of those topics and help improve the young men in our communities.
Very good. And what we're going to do, we're going to take our first commercial break, and then we come back with an 8-minute segment. And that will give us an opportunity to look down deep into some of the challenges that you have. I mean, some of the experiences that you've had on the playing field, in school, and et cetera, and perhaps use that as an example of how we might be able to sort of broadcast this information, knowing that nothing that we're going to say here is new.
Right.
We've all heard this before and et cetera, but nevertheless, we appreciate hearing it again. And so what we're going to do, we're going to take our first commercial break, and we'll be back with our audience following this very, very short commercial break. At 8 minutes, and we'll come back, and we're going to start with you, Brother Coure.
Okay.
And the purpose here is to talk about them.
Yeah.
I mean, what did you do with them over at East?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, all the,
right.
Yeah, you know the challenges.
Yeah.
I don't have to tell
Mm-hmm.
you what you have to deal with. You see, and so and so then after he speaks for 2 or 3 minutes in reference to it, then Brother Hayes, you come back, and then we'll go back and let each of sort of feed off one another, and then we'll move toward that last segment, and then we'll talk about young gentlemen and et cetera. So I think that's a good way to deal with that. But basically, you know what to say about it. You know, some of the things that we have to do in order to encourage them and whatever. I think that's if we can start encouraging them to go do right and go right, and et cetera, I think that's a good start. And so this will be a 8-minute segment. 8-minute segment here.
Seconds. Stand by.
Thank you, and welcome back to the second segment of the show for today. We're talking to Reverend Daniel Hayes and Brother Richard Coure from John Wesley United Methodist Church, we might add, because I think that both of you play significant roles in terms of your church experiences dealing with these youth and their aspirations and et cetera. And so what we'd like to do now, Brother Coure, is to have you to start us off by giving us some information in reference to what you have done over the many years in terms of dealing with young people and how you know, some of the things that you do.
Well, first of all, I was a wellness teacher at East and Whites Creek High School, and we dealt with various type of topics about sexuality and dealing with conflict resolution and dealing with drugs and various other topics. And I've experienced firsthand how violence in our community, along with drug use, has contributed to where our young people are today. Now, there's a reason for this. Most of our students were on the low end of the socio-economical level, and a lot of times, you know, money can put people at ease, and lack of money will want people to go out and do things illegally in order to feel good about themselves. And this is one thing that I try to teach, is that we have to be productive citizens that will contribute to society, give back to society, and not just go out there and break laws, and even though you may disagree with some of the laws, but there's certain rules and regulations, excuse me, that we have to live by. And I try to be a role model and carry myself as a head football coach and have rules and regulations for my football team and said, these rules will apply to society. Now, if you can learn to live under these rules, you should be productive as you go out and when you graduate from high school, start a family, and be a role model of your own.
And so they need some kind of guidance, or somebody to lay down some rules and regulations, and you find that you can do that best within the coaching kind of situation.
Yeah, definitely need guidance. And I always tell this story. We had an athletic banquet at White Creek, and we had Joe Gillum Sr., he's former coach, head coach at Tennessee State University. And he came to speak with us, and he told us that we need more men to be role models to our sons. He said, women or mothers raise their daughters to be like them. They take them shopping, they teach them how to cook and do various other things. And you don't see our fathers out with the sons in the community, you know, in the mall or going to some type of event, taking part with their sons and showing them how to be responsible, showing them that, you know, it's okay to act this certain way. You don't have to act like your friends down the street. And so we need more men to be the role models for our youth today.
And Reverend Hayes, I understand that you've had an extensive coaching career. Not only are you involved in the ministry, but you consider yourself a coach,
right,
in a real
right.
sense. And so what, in terms of meeting those challenges, what do you do in terms of talking to young people?
Well, one of the things that during my time that I was a Little League coach, baseball and football coach, I was very strict. We had a lot of rules, as Coach Coure was saying. Had a lot of rules, and my players had to walk by my rules. Also, I had a relationship with the parents, and a lot of parents, if the kids would miss school because I did a lot of coaching, most of my boys came from at that time either Preston Taylor or John Henry Hale, and if their parents had any problems with them, they would always call me. And I was able to set a lot of them straight, and a lot of them are doing a lot of good today. And so I think, as Coach said, that we have to stand up and take more of a role in our young men and young women's lives so they can be the people that we want them to be, but not just us, but that God wants them to be. And so that means we have to be tough sometimes. And we have to have some rules and some regulations to say, this is what we expect of you. And that's what I did in coaching. I expect to win. I mean, Coach Coure was one of the greatest football coaches in high school. And so in Little League, I felt I was a great coach. And I was good because I didn't believe in losing. But at the same time, I believed in pushing those kids to be the best that they could be.
And so in a real sense, they live by example. I mean, if they can see a good example, then they are more than likely to follow it. Is that what we're saying?
Yes, most definitely. You have to have a role model that people look up to. And on the way over here, I was just thinking about sometimes we look at the wrong role models, and I look at a guy like Puff Daddy, whatever his name. You see, when he goes out into the business world, he has a shirt and tie and a suit on, even though, you know, he may put out